So I'm excited for my next fireside chat that I will be leading with the Chief Innovation Officer of Siemens AG, Hanna Hennig, around building a culture of transformation at Siemens. I briefly touched up on it in my introduction, that I actually was an intern at Siemens. So this company really truly is close to my heart. I was in India back then, and I remember how surprised I was to finally see all the things that Siemens was actually doing. I mean, back then, it's not like you're just typing in a website and you see all the products and services that a company does. And Siemens, to me, back then was what I saw maybe going in a shop, but it is so much more. And it truly has an incredible portfolio of products and services and has been pioneering many fields in its over 170-year-old history. And when you go on the website, it's really the topics that we also feel passionate about, that Siemens is thinking about, whether it's cybersecurity, AI, climate action, IoT, smart infrastructure. So I'm really looking forward to my conversation now with Hanna Hennig about how Siemens is becoming more and more agile and innovative. Hanna is a passionate technologist. I had a pre-call with her some days ago. She has gathered over 25 years experience in IT and will be responsible for the company's global IT organization and digital transformation. So let's please give a warm virtual hand to our next speaker, Chief Information Officer at Siemens AG, Hanna Hennig. Welcome, Hanna. Please enter the stage. Thank you. I guess we're going to see her any second. Here she comes. Perfect. Hello, Hanna. How are you?
Hey, Niko. Very good. And how about you?
Good. Good to see you again. Special week we have. So, Hanna, we have a few questions. And when we did our pre-conversation, I noticed my desire to dive in much deeper into all of these areas that we're trying to cover today. And I think I have to keep myself from doing so, because it was just very inspiring and interesting to do that with you and to dive deep. Let's start out by talking about the transformation at Siemens and how an old pioneering juggernaut like Siemens is creating a culture of transformation and agile work in modern times.
So, Niko, first of all, let me thank you that I'm here. I'm not really sure whether I can excite the people as my predecessors speakers are, because you just used the word old. I don't really like the word old. You know, Siemens is actually a very traditional, indeed, 170 years old company, but I believe the company is really proud of one thing, and that means that we are reinventing ourselves every certain decade. So when we started off, and you mentioned it, communication, when Werner von Siemens started with adopting a better way of communicating via a new type of telegraph. In these days, now we are providing, as you said it, IoT solutions for smart cities, smart buildings, and smart automation at factories. And I think this is what makes us really unique. The way how we keep ourselves agile is really that we listen to our customers and what is the need of the society, what is actually our purpose, what we need to deliver to the society. And every time we have new board members, like, for example, this time Roland Busch is coming up, newly 1st of October, before obviously Joe will leave us in February. His team has already announced the 4 strategic goals for us, which we are, again, reinventing ourselves in ensuring that we are meeting the targets of the needs of the market, which is 4 things. Number 1, customer impact. As I said, we need to be making impact to what we do. Secondly, that we deliver technology with purpose. Purpose meaning that we deliver solutions to our customers, which can also deliver to their customers, because predominantly we are now a B2B business, to provide sustainable solution in the area, for example, in smart cities, mobility, etc. Healthcare as well. We just talked about it from your previous speakers. Thirdly is about empowerment. And fourthly, is really about a growth mindset.
And in this context, this year has obviously been a year of great challenge and transformation for society, for the economy, for all businesses out there because of the pandemic. And remote work has somewhat accelerated, maybe become reality in many more companies and maybe at a much earlier stage as planned. What impact does remote work have on such an agile work environment and also in attracting sort of the leading tech talents of today?
Yeah, to be honest, I think many people, so two statements. I think on the one hand, many people are thinking that remote working slows you down and that you cannot do work agile. I would say the contrary is the case. You know, we have done quite a few surveys among our people, at least within Siemens, and the feedback was always positive in that sense that actually productivity even increased. Also, for example, one of our latest projects where we implemented a digital solution for our sales, we did it even below time and below budget, working all people working remotely. And the other thing is, you know, what do we mean with agile? I mean, obviously agile and the remote work. What we do now as Siemens, which you might have also seen, is that we have now announced mobile working, which means that our people can decide whether they would like to work from home or from outside of the, or even in the office, or wherever they feel they are productive. And that gives everybody, I think, quite a lot of flexibility to also do this, you know, live work integration, which I believe is attractive to the young talents of these days.
Another very topical question of our time is maybe also the concern, the opportunities, but also the concern that many people have around the power and the impact of AI, of algorithms. What has to happen so that data processing, AI, machine learning does not develop past the interests of their users?
You know, let me first of all make a statement in favor of AI, because I believe, you know, very often we connect with AI bad and very dramatic things, you know, maybe seeing in science fiction movies like The Terminator, etc. Yes, there are also things we need to be concerned, but I think I personally believe in the goods of AI in that sense that we can utilize it to really make our life secure. For example, autonomous cars in future will reduce drastically the number of accidents we are facing. Also, our products with Siemens, we are able to now provide solutions where our customers can deliver manufactured products with less waste, for example. So I think AI, if it's used in the right term, can do many, many things, and we will not be able to live without it in the future. However, two things which we need to take into account. Number one is really an ethical consideration of how AI is used. Coming back to the topic of autonomous cars, there, I believe Europe, we have been the first one who has set up a commission which is also talking about who is taking responsibility if a car, again, a machine, needs to decide where to go, if it needs to decide between a group of people or as little child. These are decisions which need to be somehow also taken from an ethical perspective, which we need to resolve before the technology will be applied. Number one. Number two, I think it's bias. We need to ensure that the technology, AI, is trained with material which is not biased, which of course is not easy to be done because it always depends on how much data is available and who is providing the data, right? So that's, I believe, which is what the companies need to be also looking out for when they apply these kind of things. And last but not least, I think the third most important topic is what we need to focus on in all over the globe is really to do more research in regards to explainable AI, which means every algorithm which is applied in any kind of product is able to tell us how the decision has been taken when the software has taken a decision or provided a recommendation in regards to a solution.
And Siemens is a German company, and I've spoken about the history that it started in Berlin, what you're doing now with Siemens Stadt Reinvented in Berlin. But it's also, of course, a very global company with businesses all around the world. When you these different ecosystems and the weights of Asia, of America, of Europe, people are concerned that Europe is lacking new platform businesses in the digital, in the tech space that can compete with the funds out there. What would you say needs to happen so that Europe can manage to build also more global tech leaders?
Yeah, to be honest, again, I think this is a little bit of a misconception to a certain degree, Niko. I believe Europe has many strengths. We have actually provided the first foundation around AI, which has been also exported out to other countries. It's just that, unfortunately, it has been not very marketed that much. And for example, the AI or the technologies which are used in that area are very much driven now by B2C applications, which indeed is not the strength of Europe. We are rather focusing on B2B solutions like, Industry 4.0, etc., where we really have very good bases, which I believe we need to foster. So I would not be shy to say, Europe nor Germany has too few to offer. However, what I believe we need to do is, A, we need to really speed up in certain areas and not to debate too long. And B, we need to also invest in a profession like the software engineer. These professions are very much there in US, they're in China, India, etc. When you look in Europe or in Germany, I don't see that profession being highly regarded, nor being very fostered. And to be honest, the world in future will be driven by software and by IT.
And last question, Hanna. We have obviously lots of people tuning in, and the core of the TOA community is sort of around the startup ecosystem. Could you imagine ever working in a startup? And if so, any areas, industries, disciplines, technologies that would excite you most?
For sure, to be honest, I've really enjoyed to even work with startups we have now in our own portfolio. For example, Comfy and Enlighted. I believe the CEO will be joining you here as well.
Yep.
These are two startups which we have purchased, which are delivering smart workplace solutions and sensors around that. We have purchased a couple of years ago, and I've really enjoyed the work there because what we did is we have, so to say, integrated in a light touch way, and still help them with growing, via using the infrastructure of Siemens, and also connecting them with our technology partners like Salesforce, for example. So very much so, I absolutely am keen to work in a startup once I have maybe not the need to work, because right now I still need to feed my family. But last but not least, the area I would love to be engaged with, which is really my favorite, is actually robotics and user-centric robotics, also in particular humanoid robotics, because again, as you said it, passionate technologist myself, I believe very much in technology and how it can improve people's life. And that's why I believe, cobots, collaborative robots, in particular in their humanoid form, can really help our society. I don't see it as a danger. I think we need to investigate this area much more and really help us in areas like, be it in the healthcare area where we don't have enough people, who take care of our elderly people, or we have also people they are lacking in the gastronomy, or in the hotels, etc., where we have peak season where we cannot have enough people going there and taking care of the customers. So I think there are many, many multiple application fields which I would love to tap into once the time allows it.